Welcome to Meet the Candidate with your host, Sue Lonnie Madsen. Meet the Candidate is your opportunity to see local candidates and hear about the experiences that have shaped their lives. Meet the Candidate is a nonpartisan community project brought to you by our friends at Greater Spokane Incorporated, Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, We Believe, We Vote, and Better Spokane. Now, here's Sue Lonnie.
Okay, well, welcome to Meet the Candidate. My guest for this session is Matt Hawkins, who is a candidate for U.S. Senate. Welcome, Matt.
Pleased to meet you.
And you didn't have far to come. You live here in the Spokane area.
Here in the Spokane area, out in the valley. Been a lifelong resident.
Okay. Well, we always start with where did you grow up? Because those childhood years are things that form how you think about the world.
Well, I grew up out in the Spokane Valley, but as for the people in our neighborhood, we like to call ourselves from Chester Hills. So the Chester Hills group, I reach out to y'all and would say hi. It was a very tight community, very family oriented. One where the children learned to grow up and respect their parents, and there was expectations as to what you're to be doing and how you might grow up.
So what schools did you go to out there? Somebody who knows Chester Hills would probably know which schools.
University Elementary, Bowdish Middle School, and finished up at University High School.
Okay. Yeah, they were our nemesis when I was at Ferris.
Well, we were the Titans.
Yeah.
We had fun.
Well, after the Titan experience, did you go on to any other education or training?
I did. After that, I went down to BYU in Provo and finished up my finance degree down there.
Okay.
I took 2 years out though, and I did serve a mission, and I had a chance to kind of see how a lot of other people were living.
Where were you assigned to for your mission?
I was assigned to Oklahoma.
Oh, that would be a different experience.
It was a very different experience. I remember when I got my call, I'm thinking, Oklahoma? Where is this? And then I thought, I was hoping for a kind of a South Seas tour,
yes,
and ended up in the middle of the country. But in the middle of the country, I had an opportunity to see quite a variety of people. And as you can imagine, that's the Bible Belt. Mm-hmm. And being in the Bible Belt, there's a lot of people vying for that discussion of religion. Mm-hmm. And so had an opportunity to learn not only tolerance, but be able to take time to understand what the needs of other people are and what their discussion points are, which I think has helped me out for later on in life.
I think that can be a valuable experience. Another kind of valuable experience we all have is where our first job is, when we first learn the connection between time and money.
Absolutely, and there's probably two jobs that stand out. One was I had the opportunity to work construction and develop some initial basic skills in becoming responsible and accountable for working on construction job sites. The second one was, I remember in my senior year of high school, I had the fun opportunity that said I wanted to not be engaged in sports after football, and I wanted to start working in a restaurant, and I picked the Taco Time restaurants. And within a month's time, I was up to a shift leader, and I felt that was kind of a compliment that here I was being responsible and accountable and being given more responsibilities. Mm-hmm. But probably the thing that's made me aware and has kind of turned me into this process of wanting to get involved in the election right now is that I recognize, having raised all of my children, that my children are restricted. They've been restricted ever since they came into their teenage years as to what kind of jobs they could have. I have clients in my investment banking work that are recognizing there's a real dearth of talent that's coming into the construction fields because teenagers just can't pick up construction jobs. Teenagers in some ways are being restricted from their restaurant jobs because of the requirements that the federal government has put out on them. And so one of the things I'd like to see happen is some of those regulations rolled back so that our teenagers can start to go back to work. Or we talk about adults and families having, getting out of unemployment and getting employed. I don't hear anyone talking about what are we doing for our teenagers. Mm-hmm. What are we doing for helping give them employable skill sets and life skills that can help them to move forward with their lives?
Well, that's a good point. Because early work is really a good educational experience in
Absolutely.
itself.
It's one thing being taught within your home, or learning experiences in your home environment. It's another thing starting to step out from that and to put those experiences to use in an employable skill set or even in service work. But if we don't allow our children to get jobs, then what are we to expect when they get into their 20s? When I hear about kids graduating from college and never having had a job, I'm wondering, what have we done as a society? So if in the legislative process I can help to influence that part of society by encouraging or allowing, really, because I'm not here to tell anyone what to do, but if I can allow our children to get back to work so they can develop those skill sets, I think they'll become better prepared as they go into adulthood.
Well, you have a good life, and what prompted you to volunteer for elected office? Because not everybody does that.
I'd have to say it's the fact that if you go back on my website and look at my bio, you'll find that I have 10 children, and out of my 10 children, the 3 oldest ones are now graduated from college, and our expectation was always that they might come back to Spokane or at least to Washington State. And yet, out of my 3 oldest ones, none of them have. They've all gone to other parts of the country because that's where they have felt that they have a better chance to applying their skill sets that they have. So now the question is, will the rest of my children follow suit? And if when I retire, will I have to go clear across the country to see everyone, or can we have them closer to home? So I guess it's a matter of trying to say, I see a lot of challenges out there. I see a great divide that's taken place within this country, and even within Washington State. And I think it's time that we try to close that divide and let the people in the middle know that they have a voice that can be heard. Okay. And so that's where I'm standing. Well,
I'm going to give you that last question, that last minute for your pitch. How do you see the duties of this elected office, and why should voters choose you?
Well, I think the voters should choose me primarily because I have the ability to listen. I have the ability to try to understand and to try to bring the best forward. I'd say that where the Democrats and the Republicans both have aligned themselves along their fence lines, and they have done a tremendous job of voicing their opinion on what can be done, they've put everybody into a stalemate. And that stalemate is locking us down as a society and as a people. We have a great country, and there's no reason why we can't move that country forward. There's no reason why we can't ensure that the freedoms we've had in the past can be the freedoms in the future. There's no reason why we can't ensure that if we came out of good families, or if we came out of situations where we had poor families, why can't we improve that family situation and make life better going forward for future generations? It's a matter of saying, why can't we have faith in the future? And I want to try to help reinstill that faith in the future, and that's what I'm hoping to do. And I think that it's evidenced by the children that I've raised with my wife, and I think we have a good family, but we're not perfect, but we're moving forward. And I'd like to see this state and this country move forward.
Okay, well, Matt Hawkins, candidate for U.S. Senate, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Meet the Candidate. Spokane Talks thanks our community-minded partners, Greater Spokane Incorporated, the Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, We Believe We Vote, and Better Spokane for helping make Meet the Candidate possible.